Just on time. Welcome back, everybody.
Woo!
And last we left our heroes, we sailed into the city of Tramonto. Uh, the Corvus docked at the private dock of the residence of the Goldwaters, also known as Palazzo Goldwater. You were met at the dock by their their head butler named Alistair, and he led you inside. You guys were more or less expected. Led you inside to a very fancy looking dining room, which is probably the smaller dining room that they have in uh, this palatial mansion. And in itself is actually pretty big. But as you guys sit down, there is a brunch that is ready for you that is served by um, house staff in prim and proper clothing, white gloves, the whole 9 yards, nice silver serving ware, and there are uh, tons of little cakes and pastries, and there are fruits and poached eggs and all that other sorts of stuff, mimosas, and as far as the eye can see. And you are currently in this dining room as you await for the arrival of Lord and Lady Goldwater. Um, Definitely apples. So, with that, I will take you all to the Tramonto map where you guys are settling in for brunch, and I will give you a few moments if you wish to discuss amongst yourselves whilst my computer catches up with my settings so I don't sound robot when I try to speak again.
Look at you planning ahead. Robot.
Robot, robot. That's what they sound like, right?
Robot. Are we
100% accurate.
I love how Alistair's little NPC token is just hanging out. He looks stern. Probably a top. We don't need that kind of energy in our little clique that we've got going on right now.
He looks like
Everybody
he
got a
enjoys
top.
things that none of us enjoy. Like he's probably a nice guy,
Like
but not
sitting
the kind of guy
quietly.
you want to hang out with. Like
Him
smoking
and the
cigars.
maids at the end of the day have a beer after work and just like, oh god.
I'm just imagining him in place of the Dos Equis guy about like interesting man commercials.
Just white gloves.
Oh, you know what? That's what it is. The white haired James Bond. That's the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call it bondulance.
It's the steely
God,
blue eyes. That's what it is.
Bond. James the names. What? Names the Bond, James. Having a stroke. Call a bondulance. It's in my brain now. Thank you. So are we alone in the after we've been served? Are we alone in this room, or are there just like a little cadre of maids and such hanging out watching us?
There are servants in this dining room that are flitting about that are, they're kind of like clearing away your empty plates as you use them. They are refreshing your glasses with whatever beverage you are drinking. They are creating a constant supply chain of apples for Ren. That sort of thing.
Uh, Jay just feels extremely uncomfortable if these people wait on her. It's after the first time I think a plate is cleared, she just has to sit there with that weird nervous energy that you see people get sometimes where they're like picking at their napkin. And these are probably linen napkins, so it's not like shredding or anything, but she's just like playing with the napkin as she's watching everything and trying not to get up to go help. But she definitely has asked occasionally if they need help and if she can help them with anything.
They're very much, no, Miss Jane, we have this handled. Please enjoy yourself.
Yes, okay. No, I'm having a great time. It's just, yeah, there's a lot of dishes and I could help. I think if you want help, it's fine.
No,
I'm good.
please stay seated and enjoy yourself. You are guests here.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. Ren, are you liking the apples? Are they good?
So many apples.
They'll crush fresh apple cider for you too.
What?
Fully stocked. They are fully stocked. You will want for nothing in this place.
This table seems like they were expecting us.
Bring forth all the apples.
You're gonna give yourself a tummy ache.
Apple mimosas.
I am not getting on the ship again.
Not for a little while.
Not for a little while. Apples.
Should we?
I'm getting very Ryuk vibes from Ren right now.
That is the funniest part when he started liking apples. I'm like, oh, you're a Shinigami now. Awesome. Okay, that's fine.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
That's because you need to watch Death Note with me.
Okay,
Okay.
that wasn't hard.
That was very easily solved.
Really. Should we? It feels kind of rude to be eating and drinking still when no one else is here. Should we wait? Should we be waiting, Noriko? Should we be waiting for things?
Naruto just shakes her head and she says, "No, we are coming in a little bit later in the day, so honestly, the polite thing to do is to accept graciously any hospitality offered.
Okay.
Remember when I was talking about games with nobles?
Uh-huh.
That's the thing. They feel good and important when they are able to provide for all of the needs of their guests. It's like a point of pride.
Well, that's very nice of them.
Yeah, Naruto says, just holding herself back from another mini lesson on power dynamics.
Yeah. Go right over someone's head.
Conspicuous consumption.
So do we just sit here and wait?
Yeah.
Okay. Referee, do you need anything?
More bacon.
As soon as you say more bacon, there is another white-gloved, server that comes around with a just heaping pile of bacon on like a silver platter and just kind of like gently places it on the large wooden table in front of you.
Like directly in front of me?
Like a little bit away from you so that others can pick at you, but definitely closer to you than anyone else.
I swap my empty plate with the platter.
Oh, you're hungry.
They will take the empty plate and rush off out of the room, possibly making another platter of bacon.
I'm a little hungry, yeah.
You don't eat too much on the ship, so
Well, there's not bacon on the ship. I mean, there
that
is,
is.
but not much. No,
We usually
not
run
this
out
time.
of it for the first day.
Yeah.
Do you feel weird here?
I mean, it's not what I'm used to, but I'm not used to very much, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's good then, though. You know, no one feels awkward here. It's definitely just nice.
No one?
I feel like I'm gonna break something. I'm trying not to touch too many things. I'm definitely gonna break something.
As you're kind of chittering off to the side, there is one of the servants comes around and actually approaches Professor sitting at the table, and they kind of like do that thing where they have the platter holding in one hand and like their free hand kind of like tucked behind their lower back, and they bend at the waist a bit to lower to you, Professor, so you can kind of see what's on this plate. And what you see are a couple of those little they're almost like sample size cups filled with some kind of dressing. And they look at you, Professor. They say, "We understand that you have been a bit of the connoisseur of what you call ranch dressing. Uh, we've heard of this recipe and thought we would give it a try for ourselves, and we were hoping to be able to impress you with what we've been able to accomplish here." And they kind of offer you some of this ranch dressing in little cups.
He kind of looks at like, oh, you've heard of the recipe over here. That's fantastic. Here, put one of those cups on this plate. Kind of hoists up a little plate for them to set one of the cups on.
They will do so.
And then he'll hand them the plate and take the tray.
Oh, well, we do hope you do enjoy.
Yes, mustn't be too greedy. Yes.
Kind of scurry away. There's another servant that comes around to Yuki, and you can see that they are holding another platter in their hand. This one has a um, like a teapot on it and a couple of cups, and kind of serves it in front of you. And they say, "This is made of some of the herbs that were grown in our back garden. Um, different kinds of spices. We tend to use clove in ours. We understand that up in the monastery, up in the mountains, that you have all sorts of herbs and plants that you can make into teas, and we're very excited to show off what we can do here."
Yuki will look up at the servant, the server, whatever we're calling them, and she'll kind of arch a brow and say, "Clove, interesting. I would be honored to." I think before she says that, she's gonna like look at Nargo, like kind of look her eye over Nargo and look back and say, "I would be honored to try your tea. Thank you for the hospitality."
Oh, the pleasure's ours, Miss Yuki. And they will leave the teapot for you.
I think they left the whole teapot.
Yeah.
And they should kind of like look at Professor and Reverie with the look like, "I didn't have to take it. They left me the whole thing." But she won't say anything. She'll just give them kind of the, "Who's important now?" And just pour the tea in her little teacup.
That says a lot more about you than it does about us.
Yuki is going to remember that Naruko gave them lessons about behaving, so she is going to hold her tongue, but she will definitely smirk as she pours her tea. She says, "Yes, Professor, as you say." And she will try their tea.
Yeah, and you'll find also on the table spread there are little containers of cream. There is like lumps of sugar. There is honeycombs for honey. So you can fix it up however you like. And as you try the tea, it's certainly different than I think what you may have experienced. I'm not sure how much Yuki may have experimented with cloves, but this tea that they have, it has a very, very earthy, very like floral kind of palette, but the clove that's in it almost gives it like a chai-like quality.
Nice. I rolled a 19, so Yuki has had tea with
right.
clove in it before. But the clove to kind of other ingredient, the word I'm looking for, ratio, is not something that she has currently had before. And I think she will have it straight. She's not going to doctor it. She's going to kind of respect them and their brew and drink it straight up.
Wonderful. Yeah, and they again, as they serve the tea, they kind of, they step back, they keep their hands behind them, and they're just kind of, watching the table, seeing what kind of goes, what needs to be cleared as you guys are able to enjoy yourselves. Again, they clear out the empties, they bring more out that needs to be refilled, replenished, and they are very much a well-oiled machine. Like I said, you guys kind of want for nothing as you're able to enjoy this piece of your morning.
Uh, Naruto is going to pick up on something. The specifics of like tea for Yuki, ranch for the professor. Uh, are these things
Apples for
about? Yeah, are these things that they could have feasibly picked up from like stuff Naruto had included in her correspondence, or was there probably a deeper level of research done before they arrived here?
Um, so I think it's been pretty well established that uh Ren likes apples, and that Yuki is about her teas. That was kind of pretty well known for a while. The ranch dressing thing, though, is a bit of a curious thing because that is something that Professor kind of literally just invented not too long ago, and is just kind of niche enough where they might have had to kind of follow your exploits a little bit to have picked up on where you've been and kind of what kind of things you've done. So
Gotcha.
I don't know how
So
much Noriko would have mentioned about the ranch, but I'm not sure she might have said that much. But I will leave that up to
I
your discretion.
I mean, I'm going off of that the contents of the letters that have been posted so far is more or less the total of what Naruto has shared,
Mm-hmm.
um, which I don't believe Ranch made an appearance
Mm-hmm.
at any point previously. Um, Mostly Naruto's just trying to get a bead on if if they've got an information network, how uh, how closely and up to date they are in the it would seem to be very much so if that's the case.
Yeah, yeah. It seems like they're kind of up to date.
Cool. That's concerning, but good to know.
So after a while, if you guys enjoying the spread that's laid out before you, Alistair once again kind of enters the room, and he says in a stern but firm and even tone, and he says, "Now presenting, Lord and Lady Theodore and Catherine Goldwater." And behind him walks in this lady and this gentleman, walking kind of arm in arm. They're all smiles. They seem very, very pleasant. They seem upbeat, kind of happy. You see the man is about middle aged. He has silver comb back hair, nice full beard, wearing a bit of an opulent kind of like gold like coat, not coat, but uh
like an
Jacket?
overcoat, like a
like a
jacket or a
yeah,
smoking jacket or
yeah,
something.
like a smoking jacket, something like that. He looks a little bit like that. Where is he? There he is.
Um,
All right.
The woman on his arm has a more like billowy, kind of airy kind of dress, and she wears a very elegant kind of headdress with it as well, with a bit of a veil that trails behind her. Her makeup is done impeccably perfect. She is adorned with all sorts of jewels and jewelry, and she looks a little bit like this. And
there,
they
that's it.
and they kind of smile as they make their way in. They make their way to the head of the table where Alistair pulls out their chairs for them to sit, and they smile and wave and nod at everyone with greetings, and they say, "Welcome, welcome," Theodore says, "to our home. Welcome to Palazzo Goldwater. Miss von Grutzner, it is a thrill to finally meet you face to face."
Uh, Naruko had stood up from her chair when the lord and lady were introduced. Politely waited until they had seated before to take her seat again. Uh, she's all smiles, and she says, uh, "Thank you for this most gracious welcome. It's been quite the journey to make it out here, but it's been the foremost thing on my mind for quite some time, I assure you.
Catherine kind of nods and she says, "As it has been on ours, it must have been quite the journey. You have been on your way here for a while. I'm glad to see that you have finally made it safe."
Oh yes, there were spots of trouble here and there, but I was very lucky to early on before disembarking from Uzura to have made the acquaintance of a number of thrilling traveling companions who have both made the journey more interesting and uh, provided uh, skills that were essential in helping to navigate some of those rougher waters.
Theodore acknowledges and he looks at the rest of the party and he says, "Well, I must offer you my sincere thanks as well in making sure that Nariko has made it safely here to Tramonto. It would stand that I believe we owe you a bit of a debt as well. I do hope you're enjoying yourselves here."
Oh, we just got here, but it's very nice.
The apples
Narco
are
is really the
delicious.
reason that most of us got here, honestly. She's great.
Ah,
I'm sure, yeah, you know that, probably.
a glowing recommendation. He smiles at Nariko. Catherine kind of looks at Ren and almost like fixates on him a little bit. And she says, "Oh, the apples are from our garden out back. We we've taken great care in making sure that our produce has been cultivated properly."
They are an excellent vintage. Ren says, trying to use a word he thinks sounds fancy.
Catherine kind of smiles a bit. She hides her mouth a little bit behind like a linen napkin, and she kind of slides her eyes towards Theodore and then back to you, Ren. And she leans a little bit your way, and she says, "I do apologize if this is very forward, but you are probably the most unique character I have ever seen."
There is only one of me. That does not surprise me.
Is that real bone?
I've never had reason to doubt it.
Again, she kind of looks at Theodore, and Theodore kind of gives a "what are you up to" kind of look. Catherine turns to Ren and says, "May I touch your skull?"
Ren frowns. I am uncomfortable with personal contact.
"Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. Totally understandable. I get it. No worries." Theodore clears his throat and he says, "Well, uh, we have heard a little bit about you all, but from Marcus through the letters that he and Mr. Darko have exchanged. But we would like to hear from all of you. Just so curious to hear your stories. Please tell us of where you've been and a little bit about yourselves, and so that we may know who our soon-to-be daughter-in-law has been traveling with."
Uh, Narco will be happy to sort of take the lead on giving a somewhat whitewashed account of their travels thus far. Um, so things like the cult will be included, although the specifics of what exactly they're doing, as far as like rending holes in reality, will uh, will be either omitted or downplayed. Like it's mostly like, oh yes, they worship some sort of great old one that bring madness and terror to the world, very, very naughty, etc. But more emphasis on, say, like, Naruto is going to spin things such that we were never like seeking out to have things happen. So like when talking about the Knolls, it was more like they were just on the road being a problem, so we had to defend ourselves. Or uh, the the whole expedition down to the sewers is probably going to get modified a bit because what self-respecting noble woman traipses down in the sewers? It's more like
We had to go retrieve an item, and it was a fetch quest in a place. Not a sewer, definitely not.
The like as a former student of the Moonhaven Academy, like down in the basements or catacombs, there were some things left over by a prior professor that they wanted investigated because Naruto's so great at knowledge of the arcane. They wanted fresh input from her. Anytime she has a chance to talk up one of her party members, she will take the opportunity to be so like, oh yes, and like Jade has this mystical connection to Twilight. She's always very helpful and helps keep us protected and sheltered. Ren, is sort of a chosen of a god of the great beyond, but also has been our foremost support in keeping us not dead. Trying to do her best to give them a mostly factual account of the exploits of the Mystic Mechanicus, but doing her best to spin the brand. She won't be taking over the whole conversation. She will be turning over to other people to give their account, or be like, oh my, and Yuki, what, like, how did you feel when you were going through that trial with in the mountain to sort of graduate from your monastery, or things of that nature.
Why don't we go around and see what part is everybody going to focus on from their own journey? What would you like to tell the Goldwaters? Why don't we start with Jade?
Jade has been sitting there still, like, playing, like, nervously, like, fiddling with that napkin, because she has too many things. First of all, like, David is in her bag, and her staff is sitting near her, is like leaning against her chair, and her giant hat, and so she's really trying to make herself seem smaller so that she's not bumping into anything or ruining anything. So as soon as the conversation kind of swings to her, she just goes, we had a lovely time in Summercall. I made friendship necklaces for everyone out of seashells. Would you like a necklace of seashells? You have really pretty necklaces already. This one would be different.
Catherine kind of smiles a bit last. She says, how charming. Sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could make you one. I have lots of shells left over still. We had a really good time. There were pirates, but not real pirates. There was a show pirates. It was very nice. We had a really good day that day.
Professor, what part of your journey are you focusing on?
I think the professor will be kind of vague about his journey specifically. He just kind of stands up, like he kind of wipes his mouth on a napkin and stands up, bows his head respectfully, and he's just like, what a pleasure it is to make your acquaintance. I'm known as a professor, though my true name is of little consequence these days. Too long, too many syllables, and honestly quite forgettable. I'm a scholar of arcane histories, a humble servant of knowledge, if you will, and currently on a rather fascinating sabbatical, delving into the mysteries of this world. may I say that your esteemed reputation precedes you. It is truly an honor to stand in such distinguished company.
Give me a performance check.
I'm not good at that these days, but let's try it. I don't know, a dice. So. Yes!
Empty flattery for the win.
Hell yeah.
Theodore and Catherine, they look genuinely impressed as they nod, and she said they kind of smile and they say, "Well, it is so refreshing to find someone who is so well traveled, so well versed, and so well mannered. It is the pleasure is on this side of the table, Mr. Professor, and if I may say, anonymity. We understand anonymity in Tramonto. Are you familiar with our Festival of Masks?"
Professor, like, oh, please stop. You're going to make me blush. And trust me, there's not a welcoming shade with this hair. Festival of Masks, you say? I'm not completely familiar, but I would love to hear more.
Well, there are festivals that we throw where everyone in the city will wear a type of mask, and while outside of that we may know who each other are, the mask promotes a bit of anonymity, but more so than that, unity, because when you wear the mask, the tradition is that you don't necessarily recognize who it is that's behind that mask, so everyone's on a bit of an even playing field, and in that kind of situation, names don't really matter, do they?
How curious. In a city so built up by the names of the people who built it, you would celebrate a day where you'd forego the names entirely. I absolutely love that, and it shows an incredible character to be able to take it, even one day, to say, this is not who I am just like everyone else. I love that. When is that? I would love to see this one day.
Catherine says it is thrilling to be able to walk around the streets as one of the citizens, and not as Catherine and Theodore Goldwater. As for the next event, well, actually, we are having the Tramonto Regatta this Wednesday, which is in 2 days from now. The whole city is going to be there. You'll see a lot of people that are dressed up. There are a lot of people that will be wearing masks. You'll be seeing the best rowing teams from all over the region that are competing against one another, racing up the Grand Canal here in Tramonto. It's going to be a large to-do. And Theodore kind of chimes in and he says, and as a matter of fact, with your sudden arrival here in Tramonto, I know that Marcus has told you a little bit about our customs and how we announce weddings and engagements and things of that sort. Well, we are going to have it set up now that with your sudden arrival here, we are going to announce your engagement at the regatta on Wednesday.
The professor looks to all of his comrades like, do you hear that, friends? The entire city will be in attendance and completely unidentifiable on the day that they announce your wedding. This is just, what a treat. Just, what could possibly go wrong here? I love this. I love this place.
Is it?
Forgive my enthusiasm, and this is just really something special to me. I don't get out very much.
Jenny, you had a question?
Did this regatta is different from the Festival of Masks? Just some people will be dressed up in masks?
So there are, so basically what she's getting at is there are several festivals where the people of the city will wear masks. Usually at large gatherings is where they would do this. One such would be, the whatever this world's equivalent of like Carnival would be. But as such a large gathering as the regatta will also qualify as such a large
Cool.
large event.
Okay, so basically all the festivals that they do
Yeah.
have this tradition. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure I had the right
Yep. Um, Catherine will address you, Professor, and she says, "Well, actually, there will be two people that will not be masked." And she looks to Nariko and she says, "When we announce the engagement, it would be customary for both you and Marcus to remove your masks so that the city may recognize you."
Nariko just smiles and nods of like, of course, yes, very sensible.
Oh, it's going to be such a fun time.
Did was the engagement between yourself and Theodore announced in a similar fashion?
No, we are both native to Tramonto, so um, it was through more of the traditional channels where the elite families of the city would come together, and we would throw a ball, and there would be some of the townsfolk that would be in attendance as well, so that there were other witnesses to such an engagement. Very much more structured and formal, but with the regatta coming up, we thought, well, why not have a little fun with it?
Oh yes, it's fun, and I'm sure with the many other notable families in attendance, the he's certainly the talk of the town for the upcoming excitement to be seen at the Goldwater estate.
Absolutely, yes. You understand?
Oh, yes, it's good business.
Theodore, again, looks very impressed by this, and he nods and says, Miss von Grutzner, you certainly have a mind for business, it seems.
Oh, it's well, the my my mother has always been sure to keep me close at hand while she was uh, conducting her own business from her office, so that I could learn what I would one day be in charge of. And this little trip out from Uzura was also something of a trial run for me. I did take a detour over to Iceland, partly to tour some of the cities that I've yet to see in person, but also to see if I could uh, check in and spruce up business arrangements here and there. Uh, in fact, uh, the trip to Summercall opened my interest in the possibilities of some new innovations in transportation, particularly with temperature control, so that goods like food uh, and the like could be transported longer and maintain their freshness better.
Oh, that would certainly be a game changer in the shipping industry. We'd be able to ship fresh foods all over the world and keep them fresh.
Oh, indeed. Oh, but we're having such a lovely brunch, and I'm trailing us off into business.
Oh, Theodore laughs and says, "Yes, it does usually turn to that, doesn't it? Always be thinking of solutions, and they come at the uh, sometimes oddest of times. But yes, let us not speak business yet. Let us enjoy ourselves first." And Catherine will look again towards Ren, a little bit fixated, and says, "And you, uh, what about you?" And kind of asking you what Ren would kind of focus on with his journey so far.
I managed to convert an enemy combatant to become another follower of Lord Thanatos instead of slaying him while he slept.
There is a bit of silence. Theodore and Catherine blink, and Catherine just goes, "Aha,
He's quite the commendable goblin.
goblin, you say? How interesting. Is he with you now?"
He now has employment on the ship.
There is almost a bit of a relaxation in Catherine's shoulders as you say that, and she goes, "Oh, okay, I see. Deckhand, I understand. Wonderful."
He's an enterprising and estimable fellow. I enjoy his company very much. He works hard.
Well, Theodore says, And that is what matters, isn't it?
Ren wrinkles up his nose. Not that he really can wrinkle it because of the skull, but the shadows fall differently because he does not understand what else would matter.
Again, they kind of clear their throats again and turn their attention to Yuki. And I would like to know what Yuki is focusing on as part of her journey.
I think Yuki is gonna take a cue from Naruko talking about kind of their journey, but not in super detail. And I think Yuki is going to try to block out from her mind all of the possibilities that are swimming after hearing Professor talk about the festival and the people being like not able to be showed who they are and fucking risks and danger and death, and she's gonna try to like blink that back. Her tail will still stay fluffed a bit, and she will say, well, there's been a lot that we have, and she'll look at Narugo and look back at her tea and say, accomplished together as a team and as friends. And she'll look at her tea and remember balance, connecting, how we all connect together. We all balance each other and we all complement each other. And she will again kind of pull from Naruko and she will say, I think the most memorable part of our journey so far was at the beginning. That is where all great stories start, is it not? When we all met, and I was able to represent my monastery and educate about tea and create teas for everyone and everybody have this connection and this moment. And I think Yuki is going to kind of lean into what she knows, and an attempt to sound as educated as she can, as respectable as she can, and she'll kind of talk about the different teas that she's been able to create through this trip and through all of these through all of these places she's been and the herbs that she's
That's
gathered
weird.
and through all of this trip and all of these experiences, how it's made her learn so much more about tea and about herself and her friends. And I think she'll kind of be vague about it, leaning more towards tea and herbs and all that fun stuff.
Catherine leans in towards you and says, so, of all the places you've been, where would you say you found... Oh, I guess I can't say the best because that's a very subjective term, isn't it? Um, the most... Why don't we say... complex and perhaps even maybe satisfying blend to make? Whatever that means to you.
Mm. Well, the most satisfying blend and type of tea that I've been able to make um, would have to be Matabi, and she will explain about Nimue tea, which is essentially sleepy time tea, and she's going to talk about how the herbs complement each other, how the mint and the lemongrass and the tila flowers that she found. Jesus Christ, May. Um, sorry, my cat just fell off the table. The tila flowers that she found while they were in summer call, and about the matabi that she brought with her from her monastery and how it has blended in all these experiences. And then she'll kind of, unable to help herself, kind of look down and say, I've had some really good mushrooms as well on this trip.
Theodore and Catherine kind of look at each other, and Theodore looks at you and says, "I'm sorry, mushrooms? Like, what kind of mushrooms?"
Drugs. Just made them think that they're taking drugs.
Right? She says, only one mushroom given to me by, she's going to kind of, for those that know Yuki, you'll see that she will blush a little bit. And she'll say, from a friend.
Oh, that's right. Yuki got engaged on the way here.
And the tail fluffs up a little more.
That
Catherine,
was a really nice day too.
Catherine kind of gasps a bit. You see, she like claps her hands a bit, and she says, "Oh, congratulations! It's wonderful."
Thank you.
Who is the lucky person?
His name is Gorak. She's gonna look at Naruko like, how do I fucking spin this? She's gonna say,
Naruko will surreptitiously cast a message to Yuki to try and help her make the game plan if she wants.
Yeah. She'll kind of like
hold that thought. Hold that thought.
Yeah.
Narco, as you go to cast message, you realize you can't.
Oh shit.
I would like everybody here to give me a perception check, please.
Ha ha ha.
Professor, you may make this with advantage.
Ooh, perception for Jade is pretty good.
Thank
25 perception for Jade.
All right.
Ah,
No. Reverie is very into this bacon right now.
So I think there's something that catches the corner of your eye for Yuki and Professor and Narco and Jade. But before I say what that is, I would like Professor to give me a history check.
History. Now, why would a professor of history know anything about history?
Oh no!
Exactly. Let's try it again. And one more time, because that's a little bit better. It's going to take 2 inspirations for this dumb check.
I love that we
All right.
spend inspirations on the social stuff.
Yeah.
This feels like it's going to be a while before we get into like a proper fight, so let's use them up now and do something really hilarious and another one.
Yes.
So, those of you who I mentioned with the perception made the perception check to it, you notice there's a bit of a tint of like blue glowing crystal kind of inlaid in some of the like molding, the gilded molding and stuff that is around this room. And Professor, with that history check, very much reminiscent of the crystals in effect in a certain elven city on a different continent that you know very well.
The professor just kind of like clears his throat and just kind of, I don't think he's going to say anything because he doesn't want to be obvious, but they're at this table with the Goldwaters. So he's just going to like kind of under the table, like scribble anti-magic crystal, and then just sort of try to casually, like 8th grade class, slide the note under the table to the next person so each person can see what's going on there.
Give me a sleight of hand check.
I've run out of inspirations here. I
Um,
catch these things, I don't do them.
so you you scribble down this note. You pass it along. Everyone eventually gets their hand on it. The Goldwaters seem very uh, they seem very engaged in their conversation. And if they have noticed that you have done this, they do not show it.
Okay.
So with the message spell not being an option, uh, Naruko will sort of perk up and smile and say, "Oh yes, Yuki, wasn't that the gentleman who was so enthusiastic to join your monastery after you had taken some time to train with him and teach him about the way of balance?"
I thought he
She's
liked her because she was a good fighter.
she's gonna try to catch on and say, yes, it's very uh, uh, cultural and um, specific announcement at Elgroff.
Catherine kind of grins and nudges Theodore and says, "She's definitely in love."
It was really romantic. It was just one of those love at first sight types of things, like you read in the stories.
Well, that is
Yes.
wonderful news. When is the wedding?
Uh, we have not set a date yet. In my monastery, there are trials that one must complete before a union is to be formally made. He is currently completing those trials, I think.
I think. Maybe. If you can get across the ocean on the back of the mark.
Yeah, that's the perfect tone for this. That's beautiful.
Just smash cut to just an orc face down on the beach, the tide lapping against. No indication whether or not he's alive or dead. Just smash cut back here.
Susanna, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that you were away. Did you catch what happened?
Shit. I only caught the part about what's his face that we're engaged to. What else happened?
Give me a perception check for Ren.
Fuck my life. Ren was too busy eating apples.
Okay.
Here, let's find out, but I'm pretty sure he is.
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, way the fuck too busy eating apples. Absolutely. Yep. Called that shit.
So
Go on, what happened?
Ren doesn't notice it, but the Narco tried to cast a message to Yuki, realized that she couldn't. Some of the other members of the party noticed a kind of blue glow from some crystals that are like inset into like the molding and like the ceiling in this dining room. And
Oops.
Professor passed around a note that what did it say, Professor?
Anti-magic crystals.
Anti-magic crystals.
Ren just nods his head as he's eating his apples. Does not care. Having a good time. The apples just keep coming. Wait, let's do a higher low and see if he's eating the core as well.
Core and all, baby.
Yeah. He's eating the core. Yes. Oh yeah. Happy
That's
boy.
what he-
Listen, they don't gotta clean up much after him.
Oh dear. Anyway, so Theodore looks at Yuki and he says, "Yeah, so, well, if there's one thing we understand, it's certainly tradition, and I hope that your betrothed passes with flying colors, and you two live a wonderful and happy life."
I thank you, sir. I do as well. She sounds almost a little surprised at herself.
Aw.
Yuki's gonna be browbeaten into loving this guy.
She's being guilted into it by Jade.
It's the power of affirmations. If everyone around you keeps saying that everything's cool and this is fine, eventually maybe you'll believe it. That's what affirmations are, right? That's not brainwashing.
It's not Stockholm syndrome. No, it's fine. It's
Peer pressure?
fine. Yes.
Um, so Theodore is going to turn to Reverie, and he's going to smile a charming smile of his, and he's going to say, "And you also a very unique individual. I, if you don't mind my saying so, tieflings are rare to see in Tramonto. Not many come around here."
Really?
Yes, I think it's far off from wherever it is they usually live. They just, for some reason, have never settled in these parts.
Well, to be fair, the few cities that I've been in, there haven't been many there either, so.
Huh. So, what about you? Where are you from? And it's going to ask you for whatever part of your journey, Reverie, you would like to focus on.
Um, she's going to focus on the different groups that we've met and like allied with along the way. And like kind of emphasize that, hey, but like especially Narco have ties to these large organizations like the Sentinels and the Schools of Magic, etc. I'm going to focus on that and try to not focus as much on the fighting side.
Fair. So they're gonna smile and say, "Wow, you've met so many different, interesting people. You are all certainly well traveled."
Yes, it's been non-stop travel for the past few months, actually. Which I could say I've been kind of enjoying, but it will probably be nice to settle down at a more permanent location in the future.
Theodore looks to Naruko and says, "Yes, it sounds like you have all been through quite a lot. It must be a relief, Miss Naruko, to not have to worry about that kind of thing again once you're welcomed into the Goldwater family."
Uh, it takes a good deal of effort, but Naruko maintains her smile, and she says, "Oh, I'm sure, but it is the nature when your business involves so much in the way of trade that if you want the business to run efficiently, you can't allow it to escape your oversight. So I'm sure, much like my mother, eventually I'll get that itch in my shoe. Uh, but and of course, there's also the possibility of honeymoon destinations to consider.
Oh, yes, travel for pleasure, absolutely, but uh, most of the operations of the Goldwater Trading Company can be done from right here in Tramonto. There wouldn't be any need for this adventuring business anymore, putting yourself in trouble, putting yourself in danger, I should say. You would be
Uh-huh.
quite comfortable here, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but as mother always said, if all we ever did was what we needed to do and never thought about what more could be done, well, we wouldn't be at the top of the pack today, now would we?
Theodore nods at that. He says it's a refreshing take. Yes.
But but you you do bring up something of interest. I do believe it has been quite some time, and I am quite eager to meet dear Marcus in person after only being able to exchange letters and admittedly flattering portraits.
Catherine says, yes, of course you would be anxious to meet him. Well, sorry to say he is not at home right now. Um, well, I'm sure that Alistair had given you the impression that he may be back soon, but I don't expect that he will be back until the evening. You see, there are rehearsals going on over at the Performing Arts Center, and Marcus does so get wrapped up in those things. But if I'm sure if you were to traverse out that way through Tramonto, you would probably find him either at the Performing Arts Center or there is a inn and tavern nearby called the Starry Serenade, which is being added to the map. That's not what I wanted. Yes. Hapa. You'd probably find him at either one of those places throughout the day today as the performers are rehearsing. We are great patrons of the arts. I'm sure he's told you.
Oh, indeed. Well, if they said in 2 days they would be announcing the engagement.
Yes, in 2 days.
Well, if the announcement is to be going out soon, all the more reason to make ourselves acquainted with haste. And I, of course, am eager to see this lovely city that you preside over. So, if you would not take offense, I would be most delighted to take a trip out uh, across town to see what there is and perhaps meet catch a glimpse of just what a talented performer Marcus is.
Yes, of course. That would that would be lovely. Uh, now, I'm sure you're used to your part of danger. And Tramonto is a very safe city, but don't get me wrong, Tramonto has its own issues, shall we say, as well. We can provide a bodyguard to come along with you if you would like.
Uh, no, Nariko smiles and she says, "A very gracious offer. However," and she sort of motions towards Arby, who has been standing at attention behind her. Uh, she says, uh, "It's actually of some importance that our latest model of autonomous bodyguard uh, has the chance to properly field test their expertise."
Oh, well, um, if you insist, we will not push it upon you. But we do insist that Marcus travels around with a bodyguard, which you'll probably see a large half-orc gentleman with him, most nearly glued to his side almost at all times. Theodore nods and says, yes, you can never be too careful with the Red Hoods running about and stepping up whatever it is they're trying to do around the city.
Oh dear, you wouldn't be referring to those nefarious Red Hoods of Donamar?
Yes, that's exactly the ones. They've set up a den here in Tramonto, and they are a nuisance and annoyance. At least they were up until recently. They're trying to be a little bit more brazen. I guess they're trying to be a little bit more notorious, infamous, whatever you would like to call it. But they operate mostly around the merchant and the shipping districts, so quite safe here and over where the Performing Arts Center are.
Oh yes, well, we shall take your warning to heart and keep a close eyes on our coin purses.
Oh, that is good.
Okay.
Um,
Any other schmoozing that needs to occur?
I think it'll just be kind of there'll be some talk. They'll probably actually, they will ask you this. Theodore will ask you Narco, and he will say, so speaking about the upcoming wedding, we were planning on having it next Sunday. We have set word out to your mother, and we had offered to do it later, but she assured us that she would be here on time, so we would we would not have held it so soon had we not received such confirmation from her.
Once again, Narco's pleasant, polite smile betrays nothing.
Uh, Catherine will ask you, have you picked out a wedding party yet?
Uh, this is fancy dancy knowledge that Nettle does not necessarily have. Wedding party, is that just consisting of like maid of honor?
Yeah, your maid of honor and your bridesmaids.
Okay. So maid of honor will be Jade.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna regret that. Anyway,
Yep.
as far as yeah, basically the party are Naruko's closest friends at this point because Naruko didn't really have a lot of friends. So unless she wants some robots to dress up, uh, presumably Marcus does have female friends to fill out some of the bridesmaids section. So, but definitely will invite Yuki to be part of that. Although Allison dropped and she has not come back yet, so her computer stuff must be very annoying.
oh, didn't realize she dropped.
She's
Oh, yep.
returning, yeah.
She said,
I'd put red in a dress.
Ren is just gonna wear a little bow tie that Catherine's gonna help put on him.
It
Naruko's
will look very good.
going to ask if Ren even wants to be involved in this, or if he would rather be out in the pews as opposed to up on stage.
Ren will go wherever you want Ren to go. Ren will try very hard not to make any comments. There are no promises for Ren and how he will behave.
Yeah. If Catherine is any indication, it might be best for all involved if Ren was not up on the stage, being the big bone centaur man throughout the whole thing. As much as I do personally love Ren as a person. But if Ren has no particular interest in being up there, Naruko is not going to make him because that's not going to be fun for him, she imagines.
This sounds like a material thing. He doesn't care a lot about material things unless it's his cat. Or Dave.
Yuki, would you accept being in the bridesmaid party?
I think Yuki's still.
Oh, right. That's why I stopped.
Yep.
Going. Okay.
We can revisit this later.
As far, I mean, invite Professor to be part of the groomsmen. Reverie in the bridal party. Naruko does have some guests that she'll be throwing out invitations to, but none that would be part of the wedding party itself.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was just some more talk about, what colors do you want, what flowers do you want, the normal sort of wedding planner stuff kind of banter, until you guys decide you are done with brunch and you would like to make your way out into the city. Alistair, as you are preparing to leave, and don't let me rush you if there's still conversation you'd like to have, but when you are ready to leave, Alistair will let you know that you can kind of traverse through the city itself. if you want to get to the entertainment district where the Performing Arts Center is, you can kind of come up this way here and come across, and you can make your way like across Sunset Crossing and head over that way. Or there are also ferries that can take you right from Palazzo Goldwater to the Central Mercado. And then you can make your way over to the entertainment district from there. The kind of districts, and I don't have them really kind of spelled out too well, but you have over here where the Palazzo di Tramonto is kind of like the civic district where government happens. The merchant district here where the market is, the entertainment district, and then the shipping district is up in this part of the map here, where the Goldwater Trading Company is. So those are kind of like, if you want to use them as anchor points, that's kind of how you can navigate around.
Oh, Narco, I was going to ask what the venue for the wedding was going to be.
Theodore says, "Well, naturally be here at Palazzo Goldwater. We have a grand ballroom that will accommodate many people."
Okay. Narco was curious if it was going to be at the Temple of Joaquin. Like, hello, we are the Temple of Money.
Yes, we celebrate business.
Business, numbers.
Coins.
Praise be. Narco is also curious if Kenneth McNeil has arrived to assist in the legal proceedings.
He's not arrived in the city yet.
I see Ali. Ali returned.
Hello, I think
Madison has come back. Yay! You're here again.
I'm here again. I don't know what the hell just happened. It was like, your date's wrong. I'm like, what? It's like, everything's wrong. I'm like, wait, what? What? Spazzed out on me. I apologize.
You're good. What did you drop out at?
I panic. I don't even remember. Just keep going. I'll catch up.
Okay. Well, just to catch you up real quick, Catherine announced that while they're making the engagement announcement on Wednesday at the festival, the wedding is going to be on Sunday.
Okay.
There has been no pushback from Narco on this whatsoever.
That's right. That's what I was trying to. That's what I glitched out on was Narco trying to get a glimpse of him, trying to like meet up with him, and they were like, yeah.
No, they did say he wouldn't be home until this evening, but he's probably either at the Performing Arts Center or a place called the Starry Serenade, where the performers would be rehearsing, and that we could go there earlier if we want to go find him now.
Okay.
They did offer us a bodyguard to go,
but we have Arby.
Narco declined because we have Arby, and they said that's totally fine. Marcus, they do insist he does have a bodyguard because the Red Hoods have been set up in town for a little while.
Got it.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Oh, there was a question asked about bridal party. Yuki, you want to be a bridesmaid?
Well, yeah.
Cool.
Is Narco asking us these things, as Catherine asks Narco? Or is Narco just like announcing it to Catherine that these are the people who are going to be?
Narco would confer. She would, say like some like there have been some consideration already, but just to finalize arrangements, quote unquote. She'll double check, and she'll like for Ren, she will like prompt like Ren, like since you're not as comfortable on stage, it was probably preferred for you to be in the audience, right?
I deem that acceptable.
Yeah, and then for like, and Jade, and for Jade, it was like, and Jade, I believe you were pretty much the shoe-in to be my maid of honor, considering how special our friendship is with one another.
So just huge eyes at Naruko. Just, yeah, of course, Naruko.
And so on and so on. And like, I'm sorry, Yuki. I know that I called dibs on maid of honor for your wedding, but I do promise you a spot in my bridal party. And I hope you can forgive a little bit of inequality there.
She will smile and say, I would be honored to serve whatever way I can, Naruko.
Yeah. So that's kind of how Naruko goes about it. Like, gives the
Cool.
impression that this is something like, of course we already had plans for this, but just being polite, I am double checking with everyone. But yeah, if anyone has issue with it, they can opt out for sure.
Awesome.
And it'll be like, all right, so I'm going to have all of the melee characters right next to me before the shit hits the fan.
How annoying is it going to be for Naruko if nothing happens at the wedding? It's just Naruko's just like, aha, yes, finally I will thwart all the evil plans and I won't have to get. Why am I married? Fuck, this wasn't how it was supposed to happen.
Look, honestly, the grand scheme might just be, aha, if we get Naruko married into a family where the parents are a little bit overbearing and disapprove of her going out adventuring, she'll be stuck there forever.
I snuck out my window in the middle of the night before the honeymoon could start.
Look, it's honestly a more solid plan than some of the others we've come across so far.
It's true. The cult's whole plan is just give her a happy wedding. Then she'll stay there. She'll be fine. People who are happy don't go on adventures.
I'll be honest, if it's like they just went around, it's like, by the way, here's your wedding present. And it's just a huge, fully stocked laboratory and machine shop,
right?
With the full staff ready and willing to like make all of her inventions happen, and a grant to like crap ton of gold to do stuff with. It would be a tough sell. Like it'd have a non-zero chance of working. I might retire Naruko.
Well, there you go, Joe. There's your in.
Dang.
Look, every time I've played Naruko, I play with the understanding that it's possible that she does have a wonderful fairy tale wedding and then retires afterwards. This is not very likely because the world is falling apart, but could happen.
It could happen. Kid, now fairy tales are real. They could exist.
She just decides to say, she's like, nah, they can handle it.
I have decided I will transition to being the sponsor of the Mystic Mechanicus as opposed to their spokesperson.
Then we all get to have an emotional moment when that happens. So funny. So, Alistair's giving us directions on how to get to Tupac.
Yes. You can, like I said, you can go north through the Civic District. You can cross over Sunset Crossing, which would bring you into like the shipping district, and then you go a little bit south from there, and that will bring you towards the Performing Arts Center. Or you could take a ferry directly from Palazzo Goldwater over to the market. And then you can kind of make your way around and up from there.
Brenda's had too many apples. He shouldn't be on a boat.
Agreed.
We are here to see the sights. We'll be traveling through most sections of the city on our way over if we go by foot.
Maybe we should do that then.
Yeah, let's take the long way.
It was lovely to meet you, Alistair. I assume we've already said goodbye to the Goldwaters.
Yeah, the pleasantries will be exchanged. They wish you a lovely morning, a safe trip over to the entertainment district. Alistair sees you out, happy to give you directions, and will stop you one last time before you leave, and he will say, "Are you sure you do not wish to have accompaniment?"
Well, we're all together.
Out of curiosity, what sort of retainer would the Goldwaters be providing?
Well, we have a small security force here. Forces. Well, force is not the right word. We have bodyguards that are employed by the Goldwaters that are kind of always on the lookout to make sure that you are not accosted in the streets, and if you are, that they uh, deal with it.
Can spells be cast in the city?
Yes, I believe spells can be cast in the city.
Then we should be able to fend for ourselves.
I understand.
I also expect that after the announcement, my ability to travel the city without attracting attention to myself will be greatly reduced. I may accept a bodyguard at that point to make that a little less inconvenient. For now, I shall revel in my relative anonymity while I have it.
Very well.
Cool. You had your chance, Joe. You could have thrown up a token of some super hot mercenary dude, and maybe we gone for it.
This year is Gregory. He just comes out shirt off. He just looks like this. It's usually intimidating enough.
Or
It's just Gronk
It's
from Emperor's New Groove. Just a giant himbo ready to do our bidding.
See, that might have made the sale, but nope. We'll go without for this jaunt. It's onward.
Very well. Well, Alistair sees you out of Palazzo Goldwater, and as you step out, the large gated doors that lead into the home, you are led out into the city. And the part of the city that you're in is a little bit more upscale. It is kind of quiet around here. There's not a lot of outside foot traffic. It's mostly neighborhood that you kind of step out into. But you can see in front of you as you move forward, there is a bridge that you cross to get across one of the smaller canals that will bring you into the Civic District, where there are a bunch of people that are dressed up in kind of like smart, smart business wear, the sort of thing that you would expect, like to be walking around like Washington D.C., something like that. But other than that, the city is yours to explore. As you make your way through the streets, some passages are narrower than others. The streets are kind of some uneven stone here and there. It has a bit of a rustic, quaint kind of charm to it. The buildings are all pretty historic. It seems like the sort of place where these buildings were built quite a while ago, but they are in a constant state of upkeep as kind of living on pylons on the water will need. uh, so yeah, the city is yours to explore.
I want real quick point of clarification on what we saw. Narco was the only who tried to cast a spell in that room, but we all kind of clocked not all of us, most of us clocked the gems, the crystals that were inlaid in what it was, and then Professor sent a note saying it was anti-magic field, anti-magic crystals. We didn't feel any different going in and out of the house, did we? Like, nothing strange happened. We didn't feel weird.
Like you didn't feel like sick or anything like that. Like you didn't notice any physical changes.
I more meant like we didn't notice a change until someone tried to cast a spell. They realized they couldn't.
That's correct.
Okay, just making sure.
Yes.
So when we're leaving, once we're outside, and we're away from the house, she's just gonna look at everyone else and she's gonna say, "So what were you talking about with your secret note, Professor, about crystals?"
As you As you
What's
step
happening?
outside, I will say, as you're outside of Palazzo Goldwater, and Reverie tries to cast this message to Professor in the chat, the message does go through.
Sorry, Jade, you're asking that as a message, or are you just like straight up asking?
Reverie sent you a test message to see if
Oh.
her magic was working. Jade is out loud asking, so, Professor, what was it you were talking about, these weird crystals you said?
Right. Okay, I see the message now. He's like, yeah, I got it. And he kind of does like finger guns at Reverie, and then he says, well, I recognize Nariko's somatic components to casting message and realized that there were these striking blue sort of glowing crystals, and I recognized them from back home. There's an entire city laden with these that make the entire place completely anti-magic zoned. And I have a feeling that something like that is... Well, I have to say I'm surprised to see them here. So the real question is, do they have them because they're rich people who have cool things, or are they implemented in other places throughout the city? And also, if they're here, do they have their counterpart, I don't know what to call them. Back where I seen them back home, the city guards also had these crystals that they wore on necklaces around the neck that nullified the effects of the anti-magic crystal, allowing them to cast spells where no one else were able to. Is that something that's also available here? Because if we're going to be putting Nariko on a pedestal in front of a city of people you don't have any way of understanding of who they are, and you're just going to parade, we need some sort of defense, something, anything. And if we could put up a defense like anti-magic zones and also give ourselves the power to cast through it, that would be an incredible advantage on our part.
Why didn't you just ask the Goldwaters?
Sometimes the best play in a game of cards is to hold your hand close to your chest. Don't let them know what you have.
What does playing cards have to do with asking them about the crystals?
We know that Nariko's fate is quite closely tied to them, but we don't know personally ourselves who they are, anything about them, if they have any ties to the cults we've been fighting, and if they have any sort of skeletons in their closets we need to be aware of. So until we know who they are and what they're capable of, and if there's some reason to be wary of them, it's just better to err on the side of caution.
I mean, Noriko's mum was the one who knows them, though.
Yes, but how well? And anything could happen. When was the last time your mum was here, Nariko? We don't know that that's actually the Goldwaters. They could be clones, just like the others we fought.
I mean, if that was an anti-magic field, though, it wouldn't that mean that they couldn't cast magic either?
Well, if they have the ability to change their shape just like Reverie, then that I really don't think that would stupid, because Reverie didn't change.
Well, no, but I mean they can't cast spells either, so I think that they're not as dangerous because Nariko has a gun.
Nariko's only got so many bullets and can only shoot so many times. I mean, this is a big thing. It's like, I don't know how to put this. It's like trying to play a game of chess. Have you ever played chess, Jade?
No, I play checkers.
Checkers? Well, think of checkers, except each piece is able to move in different directions and in different formations.
That seems complicated.
It is complicated. And in this, what we're doing here, and in general, not just here at Tramonto, but what we're doing is like a game of chess. So far, it's been fairly simple. We're like moving our pawns. They can only move in one direction at a time, one space at a time. You can move them easily, but as we get into these things, if there's a presence of the cult here, they could be ingrained into politics. It could be anything, anywhere. And I'm just saying, we should be careful and not just disclose everything we know at all times, especially to people who we've put close to us until we know for sure.
But wouldn't it also be a good way to test them, I suppose, by asking them a question like that? Because then if they lie, then we know they're liars.
Potentially, but we also reveal what we know by doing that as well.
Well, it's not like the pretty crystals were hidden. They were just decorated. I mean, I saw them.
True. Very few people here would know what they do or what they're for.
Are you sure?
Well,
They obviously know because they have them.
Professor, if you're interested in having an insight into what sort of security and counter-security is present here in Donamar, or Tramonto, I think I know who we might want to get in contact to. You know more?
Yes, I think that would be a good idea. I'm sorry, I understand it seems like I'm always this Debbie Downer everywhere we go. There's possible shadows in every corner that we need to be wary of, but there's possible shadows in every corner that we need to be wary of.
I'm aware. So, potentially the Red Hoods might be a faction that would have the information you're looking for. If they are conducting their operations here, and if those gems are anything close to commonplace, even among the upper crust only, they would probably know not just how prevalent they are, but also what sort of countermeasures are available for it.
But I thought the Red Hoods were bad guys.
Well, remember when we were in... It was Red's Wharf, right?
Yes.
Yes. Where we ran into some people who were on the wrong side of the law, but not necessarily the wrong side of the fight.
The Garnet Hen.
Yeah.
I remember them.
Yeah. Well, all we know so far is that the Red Hoods engage in criminal activities and have been a lot more active as of late. Similar thing with the Garnet Hand, only in their case the reason why they were more active was a combination of false flag operations by the cult and the fact that they were trying to deal with the cult basically sort of creating excess pressure and competition for them. If we have cultists operating here in the shadows, they might be bumping into the Red Hoods a little too often for the Red Hoods' liking, and that has resulted in more agitation. Or that I am completely wrong. It has nothing to do with anything. The Red Hoods are just going on a crime spree, in which case our investigation could bring them to justice and earn us goodwill and favor.
And that's safer than just asking the Goldwaters where they got their pretty crystals.
Well, I'll be asking them about that too, simply in the fashion of I am interested in magical devices, and those seem very intriguing and useful. So I would be happy to pump them for information on that front. But we can always do both.
This is all very complicated.
Yeah. It's going to stay that way until more information becomes apparent.
They seemed really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And don't let me forget to make Catherine a necklace tonight, because I did promise her I'll make one, and she seemed very excited.
Sure thing.
Well, I hope that they are good, and they seemed really really nice and very fancy.
They're very polite. If I have one concern, it is this opinion they hold that once the marriage goes through, that I'm just going to be sitting around afterwards.
Well, I bet that's just because they sit around.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Marcus doesn't sit around. He's out doing his arts performances.
Yep. However, he has not left the city, and I don't think that I can perform my responsibilities in helping to combat the threat of the void, upending all of creation from just here.
Well, mate, you don't have to stay if you don't want to stay. They can't make you.
No. And I would love to see them try and hold me back here. But
I would not. They seemed really nice, and I would hate to hurt them if we don't have to. If they're just nice people who are just fancy and strange.
same here. So I will continue to helpfully, politely make them aware that I have places to go and things to do, but at the very least, I'm sure that's not as nice of an offer for them, in the sense that if this arrangement is largely for political and economic benefit, having their lovely new daughter-in-law not be around to show off might hurt their image a little bit. Again, if that's the only thing they're interested in.
Well, I guess you have to get to know them a little bit better to find out.
Yeah. Although they seem very, very keen to get this all wrapped up as soon as possible, so they're not making it easy for me.
Well, we did take 2 months to get here.
It's not like
Maybe
there's very few things that create an expiration date on a wedding.
Maybe they just really like you. Or maybe Marcus just really likes you and is anxious, and so I don't know.
Yeah, they didn't talk much about Marcus at all in our conversation, unless I specifically brought him up.
Is that not normal?
Yeah, I would
Did
want.
Marcus talk a lot about them in his letters?
He talked about them some, but I would think that an excited parent would, have mentioned at least once about how they felt like, oh, after talking with you, I know you'll be such a great match for Marcus, or, well, you'll just love meeting with Marcus. He's such a XYZ, or just a little bit more than what we got. They let us know where to find him, and that he has a general interest in the arts. That was about it.
Oh, so that's... No, you're right, I guess that is strange. Well, but they're not stopping us from meeting Marcus, which is good. And we're gonna be able to find him at the theaters. Right? The theater? That's where they're at. So maybe you'll find out more when you actually meet him. Are you nervous to meet him?
A little bit. Less so than I was to meeting the family.
Are you feeling better now that you met them?
A little bit. Although, in some ways, if they had just come out and been, just rude or condescending to any of you, that would have helped me to just solidify my opinion of them. Thus far, they just seem like nice, well-to-do, slightly out of touch, wealthy merchant nobles. Nothing wrong with any of that. Also, nothing incredibly exciting from my standpoint.
Well, maybe Marcus will be different.
Certainly seems to be that way.
Well, if Professor's right and we have to play card chess with them to find things out, I don't know how much help I'm going to be there. Do we have to do that with Marcus too? And she looks at the Professor when she says that.
He kind of just crosses his arms and casts his gaze to the side. And he'll just kind of look to Nariko. And he just says, well, it's entirely up to you. But Marcus falls into the same category as the rest of the Goldwaters, technically. But if you feel comfortable, do as you wish.
Early in our correspondence, Marcus seemed like he was concerned about this engagement, and he was taking pains to subtly send that message out to me. I have every reason to believe that he considers keeping his cards close to his chest important. And the fact that those precautions were very much absent from the most recent correspondence leaves me uncertain about him. Could just be that the scrutiny he was worried about increased, in which case just need to make some space for him to talk with me freely, or there might be something else going on.
Is it likely he's been compromised?
Given who we've been dealing with, it's entirely possible. So and I will try my best to try and uncover what the root of that is. If we can make sure Marcus is safe and on the same page as us, then free to dispense all information that we have. Until that point, the card checkers remain close at hand.
Acceptable.
I don't know how good I'm going to be at that. Should I just not talk?
I wouldn't recommend that, Jay, because I've noticed that when you try to not talk, it's like pressure builds up until eventually you have to do or say something. I would rather you not be afraid to talk entirely, but just keep what Professor and I said in mind.
Okay, I'll try.
It's not easy.
Everyone can't be an enemy, right?
Some people are dead.
It's
Ren,
not.
Ren,
I would just. I mean,
Just the truth of the situation.
well, if we've met lots of people who aren't dead, who are not our enemies, who were helpful, like the Garnet Hand people and the Mage Academy people and all the people in Edmay, except for that one druid who was driven crazy, but she seems fine now. And the monastery, and Summer's Call was lovely. We absolutely had no problems with anyone there. So maybe people here are gonna be fine.
I do not trust them in their little boats.
That's just because you've had too many apples and you get sick when you're in a boat.
Quite reasonable not to trust them in that case.
That's not their fault you ate too many apples.
It is their fault they travel everywhere in little boats.
They live on places that need little boats.
They have feet. They can use feet.
There are good people in Tramonto, I'm sure of that. And I'm willing to believe even that Marcus and his family are good people. But just because someone is good and their friend doesn't mean that there are bad people out there who could be making use of them. So, for their sake, I'm trying to be careful and not give away how much I do or don't know. Because if I give away that I know too much and am a threat, they might decide that trying to play nice with the Goldwaters is no longer worth the effort.
Think they'd hurt them to hurt you?
Naruto just kind of gives Jade a very sober look and she just nods.
Should we stay with them then to protect them?
I think we can do more to protect them by being out here and doing what we do best. Sticking our noses in a lot of places that we probably shouldn't and make things happen.
Oh, I meant at night time.
Oh, well, I'm in their guest quarters regardless. So I leave that to your discretion. But
What do you think, Yuki? Should we stay with the Goldwaters or should we go or should we let Naruko stay there and then we do investigatey chess things while she's distracting them? And she looks at the professor when she says that. Did I say that right? Is that what we're planning to do?
More or less.
Okay.
I do not like leaving Naruko alone with the Goldwaters. She's gonna look at Naruko and say, I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm not saying they are involved in anything. But as you have said, it is very complicated, these political things, and I would hate for them to be being used as checkers in someone else's game and have them move their piece and knock you off the board. I'm terrible at
See,
these
it's
things.
difficult
I
and
just-
complicated. Okay, so Yuki doesn't want to leave you alone.
I fear Naruko being left alone with the Goldwaters should something happen.
Especially if there's something going on
Correct.
that they don't even know about.
Exactly. Even if there's something that is going on that they are not aware of, it is still Naruko going to be at risk, and I do not like that.
also just worth keeping in mind that if the Goldwaters have anti-magic precautions around their estate, the ability to be on guard might be somewhat less for some or most of us.
I have a scythe.
Reverie,
That's
what do
so
you...
threatening.
That's so threatening.
That's fucking terrifying.
Right?
It's a
I was
quick attack!
I was gonna have you be like, I have my fists, but then I was like, nope, Scythe wins. That was fucking horrifying.
I don't sleep, so it's not really a problem for me to watch everyone. But Reverie, how do you feel about that? Because if the whole house has no magic,
I would definitely prefer to not stay there if that's the case. I'll attend the wedding and the reception, but I don't want to stay there if I can't defend myself.
Well, if Yuki and Ren stay with Noriko, maybe Professor and I can stay with you outside. That way, in case something does happen, we can watch the outside bit. And then we have a way to come get you.
Listen, I can only cast Dagger like 14 times, okay?
28
I have
to pick them up again.
I have Firebolt an
over last
infinite
time.
amount of times.
Well, you also have stick.
You've been so clever.
I do have stick.
You stick.
And so if we do that too, maybe Professor, like you said, we can do. I'm not going to say chess things anymore because I don't understand what I'm referencing when I say that. But maybe we can do sneaky things to find out information, and then that doesn't make Noriko look bad when we do it, and then Noriko is protected because Ren has his scythe and Yuki can punch people to death.
It sounds good to me. Although I must admit, I'm really quite curious about getting back into that room, even for a few minutes, as we know the void always finds a way, and I'm curious to know if that anti-magic field affects the void in the same way that other schools of magic are affected.
I was having a similar thought. Perhaps we should enlist Jeffrey's assistance for this.
Right. Oh, Jeffrey!
I don't know that we want to unleash the void in the Goldwaters house.
It is merely an experiment. The professor likes experiments.
And unleash is really such a brazen term. I don't really want to overrun their home in void energy. Just want to see if I can cast a spell in there. He holds his hands up defensively. Maybe even the healing one, the one that has no corruption attached to it.
You're the one who keeps saying everything's dangerous.
Everything is dangerous. This whole world is dangerous. Pelennor is a dangerous place. But the more we know about the dangerous things, the better we are equipped to. This is the same thing I've been saying for the last 2 months. We've got to know everything about everything all the time. Otherwise, you don't know anything about anything, and everything's dangerous. You probably get killed again. I'm going to say this in a way that I was told when I was very young. Knowledge is power. And right now, we are not very powerful.
We're not.
Not as powerful as I'd like.
Well, we'll just do our best to keep everyone safe. And maybe there's nothing to even be worried about, but maybe you don't cast spells in their house. That could be dangerous, because if we can't stop it from doing something, that's gonna be bad.
You're not worried, Jade. I have seen the professor's most benign spells become dangerous.
Well, I just mean that if you're casting, it's when you're casting it outside and we're all there and we can all take care of it because we all have magic and we're all very powerful people. I know you say we're not that powerful, Professor, and I get it. You're saying we need to know more to be more powerful, and I understand that. But if you cast it in a room with a bunch of people who can't protect themselves, and I don't know, the wall turns into a mouth that eats people or something, that could be bad when all you have
That'd certainly be a result.
Not all void. Okay, watch this. We're still just outside the entrance, right?
Oh, I thought we were walking and talking this whole time.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I would say we've been walking and talking. Not wanting to talk about our recent stuff right under the eaves of the place that might be dangerous.
You don't want to eavesdrop? You don't want people to drop eavesdropping? We're eavescaping. I thought.
He's just kind of like, all right. There is a spell that I have in my spell book that is based on void magic, but is entirely safe. It's called Cleansing Void, and is what I use for healing people. It doesn't hurt people. It doesn't impart corruption to me or anybody else. That is the spell that we want to use inside. Well, if we could find another place that has these crystals, it'd be even better. But I mean, if we could get back in there, let me try to cast it just to see if it works, and it's not going to affect anyone but myself.
We could also have the crystals in the guest chambers. We could check that out.
You're always just so flowery and positive, aren't you?
I am truly curious to see if they're able to contend with the void or if they've been prepared.
I would be very concerned if they were prepared. Very concerned.
Which is why we should find out.
Well, if the magic crystals stop all magic and that includes the void, that doesn't really mean they were prepared for it. That just means that those crystals work.
The void does not play by the rules of other schools of magic. That is what makes it curious and quite dangerous.
In the very least, it would just open the door up for more research. We wouldn't want to assume that they've been prepared for the void if those crystals do negate void power, as they do other rules of magic. But if they do, then we could start asking ourselves, okay, is this in preparation or in defense against void, or do they know anything about void, and are they cultists?
Do rich people join cults?
Rich people start cults.
Oh, that could be quite problematic.
Anyway, so that'll be for tonight then.
Yeah, whenever I have the time.
Reverie, would you be comfortable going back if we're invited for dinner? Or would you not want to go back for that? Because I'll stay with you.
No. I'm trying to split us up as little as possible.
Okay. Well, we'll just. I guess we gotta go try to find Marcus first, and then go from there. And then I'm Narco. What does a maid of honor do?
Narco has to actually rack her brain for a second. So when you're the maid of honor, oh no. Oh no, I think you have to give a speech.
A speech about what?
Past triumphs in battle?
So
About
maid of honor, like all of the bridesmaids, accompany the bride as part of the wedding ceremony. The maid of honor is sort of in charge of that. Generally helps stay by the bride's side during all of the engagement, helping out with emotional support and helping plan the wedding. And during the reception, I'm pretty sure the maid of honor and the best man are both on the list to potentially give speeches in honor of the new couple.
Oh. Well, I can. I will. I suppose I should find his best man. Friend Reverie, will you help me with that part?
Yeah, I'll definitely help you.
Okay.
We have not even found the original man yet.
Maybe we'll be lucky and they'll be together. Maybe his best man is his bodyguard, like Arby. That would be very convenient.
I'm just imagining like the reception, and just Jade, tiny but with her big hat, standing next to this hulking half orc in a suit, and they're just like fumbling with their notes together in the corner, being like, "No, no, you give your speech first." It's like, "I'm not ready. You give yours first."
Oh no, we did that. We did that thing where we bumped into each other. All the notes went everywhere. Now I have some of Marcus's things. It's the next meet cute we didn't know we needed.
Oh, if he's the top, you may add him to your collection.
He's also a bottom, unfortunately.
100%. Jade speaks at her lover's wedding.
Yeah, man.
I love Naruto very much, and we started out as just special friends, and now here I am today, watching her get married to someone else.
Yeah.
What a happy day!
I'm so happy for them. I'm not crying. How far is this performing arts center?
I mean, it'd take you
Not far enough.
It would probably take you better part of at least a half hour to kind of get to that other side of the city, going around the long way. As you kind of make your way across, you will kind of pass by the Civic Rest House, which is one of the inns that the Goldwaters had suggested as an alternate place to stay if you don't feel comfortable staying at Palazzo Goldwater. Um, there is also the Palazzo di Tramonto, which is this large, impressive-looking building, which is kind of the center of government here. As you pass by, as you would pass by this structure, there are walls that are kind of surrounding it, kind of as you see as the art on the map here, and there are guards that are posted every couple of feet along the walls, very much like dressed very much like a Swiss Guard kind of situation. They're all kind of moderately armored, each of them brandishing, or not brandishing, but they are equipped with a longsword and a type of pole arm weapon. Um, Parts ceremonial, but also, from the looks of it, they could very much be functional as well. So you could try your luck at storming the castle walls if you so choose. See what happens. And then along the way, there's also a very lovely scenic spot that you can stop at. Sunset Crossing, which is the bridge that crosses the Grand Canal. As you kind of make your way through this district up here, this is, like I said, a lot of government kind of happens up here. So there are people that are in smart suits that are just kind of bustling around, and kind of you can tell that these people are kind of like the policymakers of the town, even if maybe they don't necessarily write the policy from the ground up. But outside of that, there's also a lot of residential area around here as well. The streets are lined with there's a lot of like food vendors along the way. There is gelato, there's street pizza, there are like pasta stands. You would hit a food vendor probably every couple of feet. There's always someone trying to sell you something to eat. So that would be kind of the first half of the journey. And then once you make it towards Sunset Crossing, you would kind of make your way through this area here, which is like the shipping district, where the Goldwater Trading Company is located, and then turn south to get yourself to the entertainment district, where you'll find the Performing Arts Center and the Starry Serenade.
Well, which one should we go to first?
Uh, I'm I'm interested in seeing this performing arts center.
Well, sure. Let's go to that one.
As you make your way across the town, there is a bit of a scenic spot as you cross Sunset Crossing. Gives you a nice view of the city from the canal.
I think. Oh, I
You're so cute.
love it.
Gorgeous.
I think along the way, as we've been walking, and we're talking about all the clandestine behavior we're going to have to get involved in, that's not as straightforward as Jade would like. She's been kind of distracted from the beauty of the town, but as soon as we cross that bridge, like there is a moment where she just stands there looking out over the water at how pretty it all is.
I like that we're dragging the cart along.
Our ship has run aground. No!
Oh, it's beach. It's going to be a while.
The cannons!
Save the cannons!
There's just a small group of goblins hanging from the mast, saying just "Oops."
Our bad.
First day, it's like you've been there for like 4 days. It's like first
First
day.
working day.
um, so you make your way across the city, and you kind of it's getting to be late morning, early afternoon. You're like noonish as you make your way across. Um, and the crowds are starting to come out for the afternoon. The cafes are starting to fill with people having their afternoon lunch and other sorts of whatever goodies everyone else is selling around here. So very relaxed, very casual atmosphere um, as you make your way through. Like I said, a lot of cafes, a lot of outdoor seating. There's a lot of people gathering. Uh, this hour seems to be a very social kind of hour for the town, uh, as everyone gathers for their meal. You make your way over to the Performing Arts Center, and it is this large, imposing building. Multiple grand entrances, red carpets going up every stairwell. You see that there are some people that are in costume that are kind of milling about around the outside. You see that there is one particular woman who is kind of outside one of the main entrances. She has her face kind of painted almost like a almost kind of like a clown, like a mime clown kind of thing. She's wearing like these like oversized uh, overalls, suspenders, and like a dress shirt with like a bow tie underneath. Clearly, like a kind of performer. Hanging outside one of these entrances, she's just kind of sitting there smoking a cigarette as you guys approach. I do not have a token for her, unfortunately.
Hello.
She looks up at you, Jade. You can see behind the makeup, she is a half elf. You can tell there's the telltale kind of somewhat pointed ears. She looks at you with green eyes. She's got this brunette hair that kind of like hangs over her shoulders. And she takes a drag from a cigarette, gives you a nod, and she says, "Afternoon."
Oh, you're very pretty. Hello. We're here to. She looks. Then she stops and she looks at Narco. Am I supposed to say who we're here for? Am I
Um,
supposed to be quiet? Miss, I'm not good at being the sneaky one.
we're we're just here to see the rehearsal.
She kind of flicks some ash from a cigarette and she says, "Well, the acting rehearsals are on break for lunch right now, but the orchestra is tuning up. You're welcome to listen to that if you like."
Uh, the I'm trying to remember from letters. Marcus generally is on the acting side of things, or does he do the music?
He's kind of involved in a lot of it, but he's more of a patron of the plays, the actors, the like ballet dancers, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
Performers, not
yeah.
necessarily the musicians,
Uh,
or I should say,
so
favors the performers than the musicians. He's involved in all of it, but yeah.
gotcha. Uh, he he nods and says, "That's quite all right. Uh, should know where to head in that case." Um, she she'll sort of thank the lady and sort of move around just to sort of get a view of this place. Is this like a school for the arts, or just sort of like a venue?
It's more of a venue. So like the doors are kind of wide open, so you can see inside. There's like a grand entrance. There's like concession stands and like a congregation area that leads off into several different theaters. Some of the doors are open, some of them are closed. The ones that are open, you do hear the tuning up of the orchestra coming from them. Each of these theaters, they have like stadium-style seating, nice plush, like dark red seats. The walls are darkened, and they have like a sound dampening material on them uh, to assist with the acoustics in each of them. Grand stage down at the bottom of each with a big curtain that opens up, can be drawn to the side. Um, and there is like some lighting rigs and stuff even down there too that you see with there's like it's almost like a kind of like Arcano tech where it's like putting a light spell into a light bulb rather than like electrical light, so that can be directionalized into spotlights and accent lighting and things of that sort.
Nice. While they're sort of taking in, Marco will let folks know that if the actors are on lunch break, chances are good Marcus is with them and they're over at the Starry Serenade. Do you think it would be better to drop by there, or would it not be a good idea to sort of run into Marcus in the midst of all of his acting friends?
Well,
I
you
think
have
at
all of
this
your
time,
friends with you. Go ahead, Ren. Sorry.
I think at this time you will catch him with his companions, regardless of where you meet him.
Well, if we linger here, sort of in the audience, for them to come back and continue their rehearsal, uh, I'm fairly sure he will eventually realize who is here waiting for him, and slip away to meet with me without anyone he doesn't want there at the moment.
It is unto you.
If you go across the way and they're all together though, and we're all a big group, it might be easier to slip away too, because he'll be surrounded by other people.
And I am a distraction.
We're very distracting.
One potential option is I can wait here. You all could go without me to the Starry Serenade and kind of scope out the situation, and then potentially could even drop word to Marcus that I am around and see what he would prefer.
Are you suggesting this is a plan of subterfuge?
Yes?
I am not proficient in subterfuge. I do not blend in.
Well, you could be the distraction.
I am a distraction.
Truth.
Just walks in. They all are just like, "Oh man, you got a great costume. How'd you get it like that? That's cool."
You're all centaurs.
It is
Oh my
base.
gosh, they're putting on an all centaur performance of Hamlet.
I
Oh my
mean,
gosh, it'd be amazing.
we don't know how many legs Marcus has.
He was adopted.
Oh my gosh, we have so much in common. I like how the reveal of Marcus was secretly a centaur this whole time is like a 0.5 on the scale of shocking revelations that could occur at this point. Like, that would be
Yeah.
such a relief.
He stands from his seat. You hear a clopping sound.
I mean, no, if
Not
you
to
want
I
us to
don't know.
go,
I might be overthinking things right here.
well, if you want us to go over there, we can, and we can make sure that, you know, we can try to get him to slip away quietly to meet you. That way, you're not. No one sees you there.
Yeah. Although he's probably going to have his bodyguard there with him, and the bodyguard's probably not going to be very happy if a bunch of strangers show up and start trying to get his charge places. That might actually cause more trouble. You know what? Let's just go. Let's just go to the Starry Serenade, and we'll just make our appearance.
Okay. Do you think we're going to have a problem with the bodyguard?
I think we'll have less problems with the bodyguard if we
You're
don't
there?
start off the relationship by being very sneaky about things.
That's probably lying is never good for a relationship.
We don't lie the first time we meet, so that they're less likely to suspect us if we need to lie to them later.
Okay.
Marcus may not want to talk about certain things while his bodyguard is right next to him, so
Right.
we may need to get him away from the bodyguard. In which case, it would be good if the bodyguard is not already on the lookout for us to be pulling that kind of thing.
Oh, true. Okay. Yes, that's a good plan.
All right, off we go.
Okay.
It is a very lovely built venue here.
This whole town is really lovely. I think it's so pretty.
Marcus was telling me about a play called Romeo and Juliet. That they were like maybe going to do a performance up here. Be nice to watch.
I would come watch a play here. What do you think, Reverie? Would you come watch a play here?
What's a play?
It's like a story that people act out in front of you.
Yeah, what's that?
Maybe we can all come see a play. Or maybe we can come see Marcus's play. That would be nice.
Right, so the party is heading towards the Starry Serenade.
You get there. It's been closed for renovations.
So you get to the Starry
Private
Serenade.
party only.
You get to the Starry Serenade. The doors are wide open. They are welcoming anyone and everyone. There is a jovial atmosphere inside, and as you walk in, you see the bar is packed, the tavern area is full of people. There are drinks all around. There's all different kinds of food being served. This being the entertainment district, there are some nicer things being served here. Some better cuts of meat. They use actual spices here. Things of things like that. All different kinds of ale, drinks, what have you. as you walk inside this place, it's almost kind of like it's very like British tavern like. There's a lot of wood. There are like communal kinds of tables everywhere. There's a bar where you can sit or stand at. Um, Also, some other areas that are kind of off on the side. They have more plush kind of seats, almost like a conversation pit kind of deal that you'll see around. Um, and there's a lot of people in here. There's a lot of people that are in costumes, a lot of people with stage makeup on. Um, there's a lot of excited talking, and you could tell that they're discussing things about, the performances, actors giving tips to one another, um, that kind of conversation around. Whoever wants to, though, as you step inside this tavern, may give me a perception check.
Perception. That's a nat 1. I'm so delighted by everything here.
Anyone else wondering if Marcus is interested in actors because he has to spend most of his life as a performance for his family?
I know
Dun
I'm
dun
about to find out.
dun.
The apples are gone. I can focus now.
The apples are gone. You can focus.
That sounds like something a normal person would say.
Yeah, right. Oh, Reverie.
It's all right, Reverie. I didn't get any better than you. Well, with a nat 1, my perception is a 9. So
So yeah, Jade Reverie, and Yuki, you're more kind of interested in like you've never seen people in such costumes before. It's very distracting. This is such a strange thing. Never experienced anything like this before.
Jade immediately gets distracted looking at people in costumes and almost follows them.
Professor, your eyes are drawn to uh crap, where'd it go? Oh no, my notes. Your eyes are drawn
Super weird.
right. Your eyes are drawn to a hulking half orc standing with his back against one of the walls near one of the conversation pits. He's got his back to the wall, his head almost on a slow swivel, kind of scanning the room at regular intervals. He stands nearly 7 feet tall, muscular build, green skin marked with various scars, shaved head, sharp tusks protruding from his lower jaw, wearing a blend of sturdy leather armor and fine clothing, suitable for both protection and presentability in high society. And he looked a little bit like this.
What a fine-looking gentleman.
All right, you get too excited.
Red and Narco, you also clocked this guy, but you are a little bit more detailed in your sight in that you see sitting next to him, and Narco, he looks just like his picture. Sitting next to this large half orc is the man of the hour, Marcus. Um,
So hot.
I was so ready for Narco to have gotten catfished.
He's a well-dressed man.
What Theodore used to look like.
Well-dressed man with a bit of wild, like kind of dusky hair, like in his token. Piercing blue eyes, impeccably groomed, wears fine clothing. Obviously, nobleman's attire. Um, what more you notice is that he is actually sitting in the center of a group of 3 women that are by his side. He's got his arms kind of like he's leaned back. He's got his arms like on the back of this like conversation pit kind of couch, where these women are sitting next to him on either side. These women have like that slim, muscular, like sinewy build of like dancers, and you can see that he is speaking with them, and they're kind of interacting, and they are just they're just chatting it up. They're having a good time. The girls are kind of like giggling from time to time. Some of the things that he says, they kind of hang on him a little bit. But he's all smiles. He's got a drink in front of him. He has his arms though firmly like on the back of the seat that he's sitting on. Even though these girls are kind of like hanging on him a little bit.
Well, I did send Marcus the message that I was going to be showing up today, so he can't be too surprised.
As you walk in and you scan the room, you kind of clock them, but you can tell that they have not yet noticed your presence. A lot of people in here, so it's possible that there's, the body's moving about. All the sounds in here, might be, and with him not knowing the exact time that you're expecting to show, he's probably just not expecting to see somebody else that he might know.
Alrighty. First impressions set a tone. To do what to do.
Oh my gosh, Reverie, look at her shoes. They're so sparkly.
Last time you shot at someone, that went well.
Let's see. I think, are there any like seating areas around here that are like kind of sheltered from the main area but unoccupied at the moment?
Yeah, you can find it's a little. It's kind of like catty corner to where Marcus is sitting. It's another one of these like conversation pits. It's like a section of this tavern has been sectioned off to kind of have this more kind of like an intimate seating section. But there is one that is off to the corner. There are kind of windows on the adjacent walls that are tinted, so like you can kind of see through them, but they're opaque enough that no one can really catch any details through the glass. But it is a little bit more out of the way. It, for if you wish to have like a more private kind of conversation.
Okay. Narco will put in a drink order and get herself situated in one of those booths, and she's going to write up a quick message and to Arby, and have Arby sort of roll on up and deliver that to Marcus at his table.
All right. So as Arby kind of begins to roll up to Marcus's table, you see this half orc kind of go on guard immediately as someone that he doesn't recognize is approaching, and the conversation between Marcus and the girls around him kind of stop as they see this automaton approaching. Um, what does Arby say as he approaches the table? Or does he say anything? Just drop the note and leave.
Cool as a cucumber. Arby is simply going to deliver his message. Give a tip of the little bowler hat that Narco has stuck onto him, politely, and then quite dignified, roll himself back over to his lady.
I think along the way, as Arby makes its way back towards you, Narco, you just kind of hear one voice in the crowd go, "Shield guy?"
Hell yeah.
Arby drops this note in front of Marcus. He he kind of takes a glance at the note, but then looks back up at Arby and traces Arby back to where you were sitting. Do you think you would be sitting in a spot where you would be within like visible
Yeah,
range?
she would be within line of sight.
Okay. So as Arby goes back over to you, Nariko, he kind of cranes his neck a bit as he sees Arby go back and come to you, and you kind of see him sit there and he blinks for a second, and then you can tell the obvious look of realization that comes over him, a kind of shock and surprise. He kind of blinks, and you see he kind of fumbles with this note that was dropped in front of him. Girls around him just kind of like whispering, like what the fuck's going on? What does this note say?
So the contents of the note say, I have arrived. Would love to talk, but you seem a bit entangled at the moment.
uh,
Does he blush? Perception check for blush.
I mean, you can give me an insight check if you want as he reads it.
I'm busy
Ooh.
looking at the performers.
I did not. I'm not proficient in insight, but that is a 17.
There is a moment of shock that you see that kind of comes over him, but he straightens his shoulders back, and you could tell that he puts a bit of effort into keeping his composure. He turns to the women on either side of them and kind of mumbles something real quick, gives them a nod. He looks up to this half-orc and exchanges a few words with him as he gets up and starts to walk towards where you are. At this moment, I'd like to know, is everybody else in the party with Nariko in this, like, conversation pen?
Jade definitely followed Nariko, but she is obviously distracted because she's just like, she's obviously a tourist, you know, doing the touristy thing where she's just like, oh, look at everything. So she is with Nariko, but like looking at other people and like pointing out all the cool decorations and other stuff, like probably loudly and obviously, even though she's trying to be quiet.
Yuki is with Jade, kind of also kind of enjoying the performers and the costumes and all of the everything to look at. But I think Yuki is also kind of concerned about this moment and how like the dynamic between Jade and Marcus and Nariko. So I think Yuki's going to stay close by Jade to kind of offer support if she has to, or assault Marcus if she has to do that too.
Ren came here to figure out what's going on. And eat apples. And he's all out of apples.
Listen,
And
Yuki,
someone say they made an appletini? I don't know what that is.
Yuki is ride or die. Like, that's it. Period.
Gee, I wonder where Yuki gets that from.
I have no idea.
I
Couldn't guess.
couldn't even.
Professor very blasé about the whole thing.
I think Reverie is actually going to like stay somewhat close, but not like right there. I think she's going to make her way around the place and try to see what all's going on.
Okay. Are you trying to get like a beat on like the general vibe of this place?
Yeah.
Um, let's give. Why don't we call this? Make it either insight or investigation.
I'll go with investigation. That is a 26.
Oh, 26. So Reverie, as you're kind of watching this scene unfold, you're making your way through the crowd, um, and you're trying to get a beat on just what exactly is up in this place. The impression that you get, um, the patrons of this place, they're very different from the noble house that you just came from. These are people who don't necessarily have a lot of money. There are a lot of whispers that you hear throughout the place, and there are some about um, the performance and like I said, actors just kind of giving advice to one another. A lot of them seem to be kind of scrounging the bottoms of their coin purse to buy whatever drink it is they have in their hand. Um, Impression is that this is I wouldn't call it like a dive bar for performers, but it's definitely a performers bar. Um, there is a whisper though of something that you do pick up. Somebody griping about the Red Hoods, and it's a terrible thing what they did uh, uh, to Livia, a person named Livia. Livia. Something about um, an officer building being ransacked just when they were about to show off their um, when they were about to show off their big plan. But other than that, there's some banter about the Red Hoods kind of fucking stuff up in the city. That one particular thing you do hear as you make your way around. Meanwhile, uh, the meanwhile, um, Marcus approaches the table. So, and you guys could be wherever you want to be at this point, but his gaze is kind of locked on Naruko as he makes his way over. Um, the half orc kind of lumbers behind him, stays pretty close behind him as he approaches. Um, and Marcus says, "Naruko, you're really here right now."
Naruto just nods and says, apologies if timing wise you were in the middle of something, but felt it was better for us to see each other in person sooner than later.
Yes, of course. No, I was just spending some time with my performer friends here. Um, and this here, and he turns to the half orc. He goes, "This is my bodyguard Brutus. He makes sure that my comings and goings are always safe in Tramonto. How long have you been in town?"
We arrived this morning.
I didn't know when you were exactly expecting to arrive. Otherwise, I would have been more prepared. I wouldn't have expected you to find me a place like this.
Quite all right. We wouldn't want to start off our relationship with one another trying to hide things from each other, now would we?
No, of course not. Um, and he kind of looks around at everyone around you and he goes, "And these are your traveling companions that you've told me about."
Indeed. I don't think it would be very hard to match a name to a face.
Wow. The Mystic Mechanicus in person. This is. You know how um you wait for a day to come and you never think it's actually going to come, but then it's here? That's kind of what's happening to me
No.
right now. Right. Um, I, I must admit, I'm a little caught off guard. I'm sorry if I seem off.
That's fine. Narco has cast Detect Thoughts.
Give me an insight check as he casts Detect Thoughts.
Cool. Mondays, we're going to. Do I have inspiration? Yes, I am spending an inspiration. I do not want a nat 1 on this check.
Oh no!
It's much better. That's a 22.
um, so it's an interesting thing, Narco. Your detect thoughts does go off. You pick up the ambient thoughts of the room around you. You are within range of Marcus's companions that he left behind, and there's a lot of, you know, what's going on? Who the fuck is that? Who are those people? Is that just a skull? Like, what is that? But with Marcus, you get the impression of someone who has been trained to guard his thoughts. However,
Mhm.
what's still coming through on the surface is, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Excellent. How about Bodyguard?
Bodyguard is actively sizing everybody in the party up.
Well, now I have to know, what is his threat assessment of everyone in the party just based off these sizing them up right now?
Let's make a check for this guy. So he doesn't see Reverie because Reverie is making her way around. Is there anyone else who is not, like, obviously with Narco at this point?
Nope.
Uh, so as he looks at the rest of you, oh man.
Trust me, he can either be right on the money or completely off. Either one is fine.
You're muted.
Both of these are going to be great.
Right?
So you can tell as he looks at you, Narco, and Arby, he goes, okay, that is Marcus's fiance. They're fine. Yuki, you can see, she moves fast. I probably just have to tire her out, and then she would eventually make a mistake, and I'm sure I would be able to strike at that point.
Adorable.
For the professor, he's like, nerd. Looks at Ren. Assessment of Ren is okay. Slightly terrifying. The tactics to be determined. And kind of doesn't really consider Jade as a threat.
All right, good. So we'll let that run.
It dismisses the 5-foot tall lady excitedly talking about glittery wings with a giant hat as no threat. However, could do such a thing.
Yeah.
So I love this theory that the power of a wizard is proportional to the size of their hat, because you see, the only way you can keep a big floppy hat like that to like stay up and not be a total mess is that you have ambient magical energy just radiating off of you that's creating like that cloak flowing in the wind effect, except it's for hats.
Yes.
There you go. A hat of billowing. Hat of wizardly might. So Detectox will run up for exploration just in case we catch fun stuff going through there. Narco will will smile and say, uh, of course, there's no need for you to drop everything just to entertain me or my compatriots. I just wanted to make sure you had a chance to say hello in person. If your parents' timetable is set, uh, we'll be needing to be making an announcement of our engagement in just a couple of days. So the more time we have together to get to know one another, the better, I would say.
I couldn't agree more. We could start right now. I could take you around Tramonto a little bit. We could talk, get to know each other a little bit, and perhaps um a dinner date tonight.
That would be lovely. Uh, do you want to introduce me to your acting friends here? She sort of gestures towards the hangers-on that he had to excuse himself to come over here for, um, as well as the rest of the people cavorting here in the tavern.
He kind of looks over and he looks back to them and he kind of gives that bit of like a kind of smile. Looks back to Noriko and he says, "Well, they're all passing acquaintances. Really, just a troupe of performers. Some stay for longer than others, but none really stay for too long. I mostly know them by their on-stage characters' names."
Does Naruto believe that?
Uh, Give me another insight check.
We're going to be doing a lot of this here. That's okay. Good. Okay, dice. Sure, I'll go with that. That's 24 total.
Um, it's mostly true.
Uh, Naruto will smile and say, "Well, I'm here as a guest of Tramonto for the time being. I will leave it up to your discretion of who I absolutely should have the pleasure to meet and where I absolutely must go."
Well,
Oh, and
yes.
she will nod. Also, terribly sorry. Pleasure to meet you, Brutus.
He just looks at you, Narco, and just silently gives you a nod.
She motions towards Arby. This is Arby. He would be your counterpoint, more or less. Do hope you two get along.
He kind of looks to Arby and regards Arby, looks back to you again, just gives you another nod. Doesn't seem to be a man of many words.
That's all right. Arby is a robot of uh, not many words, but he has many phrases pre-programmed.
Well, with that, nice and awkward introduction out of the way, it is 11 o'clock. This feels like a good place to pause for the evening.
I know what you're talking about. That was a great time.
That was so fucking cute.
It's somewhat comforting that Marcus is in oh shit mode, because now it makes Narco be like, oh great, I'm not the only one. I'm sure this is probably bad for us in the long term, but emotionally.
Emotionally, we get each other right now.
Look, it could have been worse. I could have just rolled up right while he was in the midst of the floozies and then been like, hello, fiance.
I thought you handled it very diplomatically.
I was curious to see how
I mean,
you guys were gonna handle that.
Naruko has a special friend, so
Yeah.
And Jade would have made this much more awkward if she wasn't distracted by everything going on right now. She'll clock him in a minute.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm having a great time. Did you see how much Lady Catherine liked what Ren said at the little table party? He's doing great. A++, Ren.
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't expect Catherine to be so entranced by Red, but that you know what? That's what happened.
Oh, bloody hell. No kidding. Ren is uncomfortable.
Look,
Ren
Savannah's
just
fine.
got his first fan, and it's a horse girl. So have fun
Ren
with
would like
that.
that to not happen.
That's too late. It's
Oh my
already
God.
happened.
Catherine
She
Oh
is
no, Ren did
Goldwaters
not
such
the
a
ask for
horse
this.
horse
girl.
girl. Yeah, she is.
Yeah, she is.
look,
Yeah.
we knew Red was going to get attention. We just weren't quite sure what kind.
I definitely prefer the ones that are like, what the hell is that? That's what I like. That's where I live.
She
Brenda,
clocked you and immediately went, "Oh my gosh, you're the most fascinating creature I've ever seen. Can I touch you?"
No.
She did respect your wishes and didn't try again.
Good.
Red's like no touchy.
Brenda's just like, I prefer it when people are threatening to burn me at the stake.
Oh yes, of course.
Yes,
Do that
obviously.
for you. Can I touch
I
you while I do
understand fear.
Well, now you're going to understand the awesome power of awe.
No, thank you. Take it away. I did not
Like,
order this.
It's already happened. It's already done.
I did not
No take
request
back
this.
these now.
I did
Maybe-
not even take it to begin with.
Maybe Catherine's just a secret follower of
Yeah,
Thanatos.
That is
She's
clearly
just
not the situation. She was not even the least bit amused with Grizzle's story.
Such a horse girl.
I like-
I love
She's a
that.
horse
Like,
girl.
oh, you have a goblin. Ew.
Yeah,
How
man.
gauche.
Oh, for help? That's fine.
Oh,
in,
like
in,
deckhand, yes.
in any other story, the revelation that Narco's mother-in-law to be was a secret worshipper of a death god would be seen as a problem.
Yeah.
Not around us.
In this case, I'm just like, oh, thank goodness. She worships a death god. That's great. Those guys are cool and chill. Nothing bad ever happens to the death god.
Not mine.
Sure. Every follower of a god has always said that, right?
Yes, absolutely. Ren is really convinced that he is the only one, that his god is completely correct. Okay, guys? He is probably one of the most self-confident and dangerous characters I've ever played.
That's probably.
Yeah, I'm aware. I sit there and go, oh, honey, you are a religious zealot. Damn. Okay, baby.
I don't know if zealot is the right term. I think he's dedicated because he doesn't try to convert everybody.
He doesn't, but he was literally chosen by his god, and he is really comfortable with that.
Yeah, but in this world, being chosen by your god is like a thing that actually does happen. So it's okay in this scenario.
I would say Ren definitely wins in confidence, but I would argue Suzume is more dangerous.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's because Suzume doesn't give a shit half the time.
Yeah.
And the
She
other half
doesn't give a
gets
shit,
propelled by rage.
as noticed by the way that friendly fire continues to occur.
It has not happened lately.
Lately.
Come on. I've been raving about not friendly firing anyone for the last 2 months.
Qualify the fact that you had to put lately in the statement.
I love that
I haven't
qualifier.
friendly fired anyone.
I love that.
Both Suzume and Ren can be extremely scary and very powerful. So I don't know.
I mean, Sephi probably is also.
Oh, Steffi's super powerful, but no one's scared of her until it's too late.
That's what makes it scary.
Which I would argue would make her the scariest of them all.
Absolutely. Okay. Suzumi's the only one who's come close to the type of crap that Sephi has done, but Sephi does that shit all the time. Oh, you see this Coliseum that hurt my people? Now you don't.
Because it doesn't exist anymore.
It don't. It gone.
Oh, I just cast an earthquake on this place in particular. Fuck this place in particular. And now my boyfriend is going to fuck you into the afterlife. Goodbye.
Honey, can we please not phrase it that way?
No.
Good night, Ben.
Good night,
Bye,
Ben.
Ben. We love you.
Um, so how about inspirations tonight? I have a couple in mind. Everyone had fantastic moments. I think,
I mean,
Everyone
oh
was
yeah, go
really
on.
great tonight.
yeah, some of the ones I think that stood out. I loved just I love Ren's interaction with the Goldwaters
That was him
and
behaving.
putting up boundaries. That's important.
Hmm.
Um,
Boundaries are important.
I also really liked Reverie, who like immediately was like, "There's shit going on here, and I'm gonna find it the fuck out."
Yeah.
And like, while the party had other stuff going on with Professor kind of finding out about the anti magic and obviously the whole thing surrounding the Goldwaters and Naruko's wedding. Um, Reverie's like, I'm going to untangle this.
Yeah.
Love that.
Uh, yeah, but Jade's, adorable kind of brand of trying to fill the
Oops.
silence
Hmm.
She has to.
is good.
It's a
Um,
compulsion.
Naruko taking the lead on noble courtesies and kind of and making Marcus come to her in a
Hmm.
potentially compromising situation.
We know who the top is now, don't we?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we do.
I'm getting some bottom vibes from Marcus here. It's not looking good.
Uh, Professor's entire like introduction speech was fantastic.
Yes. I also love the professor being like, "How wonderful! We're gonna be in front of the whole fucking city without with us being able to tell not friend from foe. Won't that just be great, my friends?
Yeah, that was
They
fabulous.
are not getting the sarcasm of my statement here."
I understood that reference.
Oh man. And Yuki, speaking of uh, her
Oh,
journey to
she's
this
warming up
point,
to him.
yeah. Uh, oh my gosh. Yeah. So Yuki kind of speaking of her journey to get to this point about the teas, about balance, and about getting a little sentimental. Focusing on it's the first time we all met. Uh, I love that whole thing, and I forgot to mention Ren putting in a little bit of growth here, saying, "Yeah, let's experiment with the void in this fucking place."
Not only that,
Mm.
but like, yeah, let's split the party. Can't believe
They
how many
pushed
people are on
Ren's
board with
boundaries.
split the party train.
They split Ren's boundaries, and or they push Ren's boundaries, and he doesn't trust them. So let's see exactly what they're capable of. That's where he's at. It is not a beneficial thing or a kind thing at all. That is where we're at.
These people just turn out to just be awkward.
Oh, then that's okay.
I also love that just about everybody burned inspirations today.
I don't like how he said that.
Oh, he's chuckling an awful
I
lot. We're
don't
in danger.
I don't get you guys to burn inspirations often, and it seems to
Danger.
always happen in the social interactions, which
That's because we suck at it.
is great
We
because you
Because
guys are pretty unstoppable in battle.
these are the
We're
situations that matter.
we are nerdy, okay? The talking part's the hard part.
She's not wrong.
It's just like real
I
life.
know.
God.
yes.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for this shit.
It's not hard to pull out a weapon to whack somebody, but to try to talk them? Oh, God.
It's the
The
fucking
Talk to them
worst.
about
worst.
my feelings. I've got to know if I have to save you from your parents.
No, thank you.
So dumb.
I gotta identify my feelings. I don't want to deal with my feelings. I buried that shit.
No.
Then we have to go to a party together where I'm in
Oh
front of
my god.
everyone. This is like a nightmare situation.
We gotta go to a party? Ah.
Where Jade has to give a speech.
Oh, Jade doesn't have a problem giving a speech. The
Mm.
rest of you probably will have a problem with Jade giving a speech.
Red does not care. Ren is
My
down for this.
chaotic ass.
I
My
love it.
chaotic ass is here for it.
Naruto
Chaos is here.
realized too late what she had potentially allowed to occur.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you made a mistake. That's
Yeah.
an oopsie.
You're in danger.
You
are in
are
danger.
definitely. So, there's some secrets that are in danger of being spilled
Oh yeah.
here on this, the day of your daughter's wedding.
Yep, have fun with that. I think this sounds great. We're having a wonderful time.
I'm having a great time.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I'm giving inspiration to everyone tonight.
Yay!
Love that shit.
Yay.
We are cool.
We are
I wouldn't go
cool.
that far.
I would.
I've
Yeah,
met us.
shut up. I'm great.
Right?
You guys are awesome. Don't talk about my friends like that. I'll be whatever I want to do.
Okay.
Yes.
Learning a couple things about this city too. Some intrigue and stuff going on.
Yeah, when Reverie went through the bar and she found someone talking about the Red Hoods.
Red Hood.
I'd be disappointed if there wasn't.
I think I know what the plot in this town is probably going to involve. Just a hunch. Just
A hunch?
I feel like there's a hook.
Ooh, plot hook!
There, there's a couple things going on in this town that you will eventually uncover.
I mean, it's only day one.
Maybe, unless you guys
True.
are like, you know what, fuck it, we're putting all our energy into the regatta, and that's all we're doing. I'm like, all right, we can do that.
I mean,
you guys want to race a fucking rowboat? Like that's cool.
Okay, we would do that, though.
We have 3 days before the announcement, and then we have 4 days after that before the wedding, which means we're gonna be in Tramonto for 7 months.
that is
Okay.
our party math.
That
yeah.
is our style of math, yes.
This is going to be my axis.
Yeah.
Have fun with that.
Look, it's honestly, it's a very 1-to-1. It's like I brought the party here where the goal is for them to just be involved in a particular social situation, and I put some days before that happens so they can have downtime in the town if they want, and then the fucking demon inquisition and fucking fighting in the arena, and
We did everything.
and we got a horse. We didn't get a horse. We got a pony. We got a pony for the paladin.
That was a good investment.
Yeah.
And everybody's lying to Reggie.
No,
Obviously.
Cathilda is lying to Reggie.
I'm lying to Reggie.
Yeah, but
there was
you're always
two.
lying to Reggie. It's not as
That
special
is
anymore.
true. Yeah, good point.
You went to music night, and someone almost died.
Can't wait
Lot
until
of
we find
that.
this Hiren song here in Tramonto so that Jade can plan a proper bachelorette party for Nariko.
Oh, there you go.
God. What could possibly go wrong?
Maybe that
Nothing.
same
That's gonna be great.
Hiren that we had teaching us kissing lessons will be here.
Nice.
Let me tell you, if there wasn't so many other things occupying Nariko's mind, I absolutely see a version where she goes to the regatta and she tries and baits the best rowing team to challenge
Fight in
her
the sky.
so that she can make a steam engine canal boat and race it like a speedboat.
She would.
I don't see a reason why that can't happen.
Right?
She's trying.
Look,
she's
we're trying to throw people off the trail. You should do this.
She's trying to. I don't. I can't imagine it's working at all. But she's trying to give the impression that I'm just a sweet noble lady. I would never get down and dirty. Adventures just kind of happen around me. I really sponsor these lovely people. I don't do things. That's what the help is for. And my large robot.
Yeah, I don't think they're buying that.
Well, they might have, but apparently, if their information on us is good enough to have like gourmet
Ranch
ranch
dressing?
dressing, red egg for the professor, they fucking know Marco's been shooting people in the head. How could they not? It's what I've been doing for like the past month and a half, nonstop.
Yeah.
First of all, they had it coming, so it's fine.
It's true. They
They're,
started
they're,
it.
their biggest thing is like, well, now that you won't have to worry about that awful adventuring business, that must have been terrible for you, dear. We'll keep you safe and protected here in the home. And then you're just like, yeah, I gotta go kill more people with this.
Look,
Mhm.
it's not that anything they're saying is wrong. Narco would love it if she wasn't having to be on this adventure, but the problem is we're in too deep, and she can't trust anyone else to do this at this point.
Somebody gotta save the
Hi,
world.
Lorelai.
Look, it runs in the God family. Okay,
Hey, there's a reason.